when strength leaves us. I still remember the day I couldn't open the jar of pickles. I was a man who had served in the military, who had pushed a cart full of bricks on a construction site, who could carry a 50-pound bag of cement down the block without getting out of breath. And yet, one afternoon the year I turned 64, I stood in front of the jar on the kitchen counter. My arms tensed, twisted, sweat poured, twisted some more. To no avail. I called my wife to come open the jar. It was a small thing, everyone said, but in my mind, it was the first crack, a sign of something bigger to come. Your body doesn't give you warning. It doesn't send you an email saying, "Hey, we're going to start taking your muscle." It just does it silently, day after day, month after month. Sarcopenia, the silent disease of the elderly. I later learned that phenomenon has a name, sarcopenia. It is not as loud as a stroke, not as painful as cancer, and no one mentions it during regular health checkups. But sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss, is what silently takes away the most from us. Strength, balance, the ability to live independently. According to scientists from Harvard University, after the age of 60, you can lose 1 to 3% of your muscle mass each year. It doesn't sound like much, but let time pass, and by the time you find out, you've already lost 20% of your strength. I used to think it was natural, everyone gets weaker, but I was wrong. There are ways to slow down, even reverse this process, if we start at the right time. I didn't choose supplements, I choose food. On my journey to regaining my strength, I didn't start at the gym. I started with my breakfast bowl. With those tiny grains that people often forget, I started reading, researching, and experimenting with superfoods, not the magical kind advertised on TV, but plant-based sources of protein that are easy to digest, packed with amino acids, minerals, anti-inflammatory, and muscle building. And I discovered 7, which I'm sharing with you today, if you, like me, are feeling like your strength is fading. 1. Chickpea flour, a surprising old friend. As an American who grew up on stews, sandwiches, and burgers, I used to think of chickpeas as something for healthy coffee shop salads. But then, while visiting my daughter in California, where she lives a plant-based lifestyle, I tried some chickpea flour pancakes. Oh my gosh, they were delicious. And more importantly, easy to digest, high in protein, and kept me going all morning. Just 100 grams of chickpea flour has over 20 grams of protein, the equivalent of a full meal. Plus, it's packed with folate, iron, and fiber, which aids digestion and keeps energy levels steady all day. What surprised me most? A study from the UK found that older adults absorbed amino acids much better from chickpea flour than from whole, cooked beans. In other words, chickpea flour helps my aging body absorb what it needs easily. I use it in soups, baking, or even mix it with warm water and a little salt, pepper, and turmeric for a simple morning drink. It's the first thing I add to my rebuilding bowl every day. 2. Moringa powder, the forgotten green miracle. You've probably heard people call moringa the miracle tree, but I bet you've never seriously considered that it could help you grip better as you age. I thought so too, until I read a study from the Journal of Food Science and Nutrition. Seniors who took moringa powder every day for 3 months had significant improvements in hand strength, balance, and energy levels. I bought organic moringa leaf powder to try. Just mix a scoop into smoothies, warm water, or sprinkle it on oatmeal. Easy to use, easy on the stomach. But the results? The difference is clear. 7 grams of protein per scoop, plus more calcium than milk, more potassium than bananas, and more iron than spinach, make moringa powder a must-have in your reborn breakfast. 3. Quinoa, the grain of the Incas and retirees. The first time I ate quinoa was because my doctor advised me to avoid white rice. I resisted. No one will take rice off my plate, I said. But then I tried it, and I understood why the ancient Incas called it the mother of grains. A cup of cooked quinoa has 8 grams of complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids. Quinoa not only helps me get enough nutrients, but it digests slowly, keeps blood sugar stable, and provides steady energy throughout the day. It also helps with muscle recovery after exercise, even if it's just walking around the house or gardening. I usually cook a small pot of it. In the morning, I mix it with yogurt, In the afternoon I stir it with vegetables, and at night I make porridge. One grain, countless uses. When every meal becomes an act of regeneration. My wife used to joke, "Now every time you eat, it's like you're planning a campaign." I turned on laughs, but she's not wrong. I no longer eat just because I'm hungry. Every meal is now an investment in my future, in my ability to stand up without a cane, in my hands that can open a jar of ketchup without calling for help. And after researching chickpeas, moringa, and quinoa, I discovered for more tiny things that pack a punch that I once thought were only found in expensive supplements. _4. Firm tofu, the secret weapon against osteoarthritis. I used to think of tofu as a diet food. Bland, mushy, unappealing. Until I learned to marinate firm tofu with turmeric, garlic, and a little olive oil. Then grill it in a cast iron skillet until the edges are crispy and delicious. The result? It tastes amazing. And my body? Same. 150 grams of firm tofu contains about 15 grams of complete protein, along with calcium, magnesium, and especially phytoestrogen, a plant compound that mimics natural hormones essential for postmenopausal women and men over 60 to protect bone density. A study from Kyushu University, Japan shows that older people who eat firm tofu 4 times a week have a slower rate of strength loss, better balance, and fewer falls. I have added tofu to stews, hot sandwiches, and even chopped it up and sprinkled on salads. Easy to chew, easy to cook, easy to digest, a reliable companion for joints that have gone through time. _5. Sunflower seeds, little warriors for lighter knees. Who would have thought that the little seeds I used to sprinkle on toast could help me walk around the park without limping? 100 grams of sunflower seeds contain up to 21 grams of protein, along with magnesium, selenium, and vitamin E, a golden trio for the elderly. Magnesium helps relax muscles and produce energy. Selenium helps regenerate cells and strengthen immunity. Vitamin E is a shield against oxidation, especially in muscle tissue. I once read a study from the University of Barcelona. Sunflower seeds can activate enzymes related to muscle recovery, even in people who do not exercise heavily. That means that with just light activities, like walking around the house, gardening, the body still recovers better if you get enough nutrients from seeds. I started sprinkling them on porridge, soups, mixing them into rice or grinding them into flour to make oatmeal. Sunflower seeds are no longer a snack, but have become my personal assistant for my musculoskeletal system. _6. Sachi-inchi, the star seed of the Amazon. When I first heard the name Sachi-inchi, I thought it was the name of a weapon in a sci-fi movie. But it turns out it is a small, star-shaped seed used by indigenous people in the Amazon for centuries to increase endurance, flexibility, and speed recovery. And for me, it was a game-changing discovery. Sachi-inchi contains up to 25 to 30 grams of protein per 100 grams, a number that surpasses most other seeds. In addition, it is rich in omega-3, omega-6, lysine, and leucine, essential amino acids for building and repairing muscles. I started lightly roasting sachi-inchi, mixing it into my morning granola, or grinding it into a powder and adding it to my nut milk. The result after 2 months: my shoulders no longer ache every morning. I can carry my toolbox up to the attic without gasping for breath. And best of all, the recovery time after gardening is much shorter. If you're looking for a super protein seed that won't cause allergies like peanuts or cashews, sachi-inchi is a great choice. And the taste? A little nutty, like roasted chestnuts. _7. Hemp seeds, more protein than eggs, gentle on the stomach. I saved this one for last, not because it's less important, but because it's an overlooked gem. Hemp seeds, the name sounds a little sensitive to many people, but they're actually completely legal, non-addictive, and if you're entering your 60s, 70s. This could be the key to helping your body fight aging. 31 to 33 grams of protein per 100 grams, more than eggs. And not only that, hemp seeds contain all 9 essential amino acids, are easier to digest than soy, and don't cause bloating. Plus, omega-3s, iron, magnesium, zinc, potassium, all in this tiny seed. I read a study from the University of Alberta. People over 60 who took 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds every day for 8 weeks. Improved strength in their arms and legs, deeper sleep, better digestion, and most importantly, more stable mood. I started sprinkling it on my morning oatmeal, mixing it into smoothies, even adding it to soups. Hemp seeds have a mild, slightly nutty taste, but they blend in really well. For me, it's more than just a seed, it's a hope for recovery. Power in a morning bowl, no gym or supplements required. I call mine my morning muscle bowl, and every time I prepare it, I feel like I'm gearing up for the day. What's in it? 1 TBSP hemp seeds, 2 TBSP quinoa, 1 TBSP ground flax seeds, 1 TBSP sunflower seeds or sachinchi, 1/2 cup milk unsweetened HUA or plant milk, 1 diced banana or apple, a little lemon juice if you like. Put everything in a bowl, mix well, enjoy after some stretching or a light walk. With just this 4 times a week, I feel steady energy all day, better digestion, more alertness, and most importantly, a sense of control over my body. Your body still has untapped potential. As you get older, you may think you're expiring, but no, your body never runs out of regeneration. It just needs the right ingredients, in the right way, at the right time. Today, you can start. No gym required, no pills required, just a small spoonful of seeds, a little determination, and the belief that strength is not just for the young. On the road to recovering strength, I still remember the feeling of climbing the stairs without holding the handrail. For young people, it may be normal, but for me, who had to stop halfway to catch my breath, it was the victory of a whole spring. Today, I share with you the 2 final weapons in the set of 7 superfoods that help me do that seemingly small but proud thing. 8 protein peas, natural protein loading machine. When I was young, I used to think of peas as a child's food, sweet, soft, easy to chew. But when I got old, I understood why this bean is a superfood for the elderly. The reason is very simple. It contains complete protein, is extremely easy to digest, and more importantly, causes less bloating than many other beans. I no longer dare to eat a lot of black beans and red beans because of bloating and indigestion. But pea protein isolate is very light on the stomach. Just 1 small spoon has 20 to 25 grams of protein, almost equal to a main meal, and the body still accepts it smoothly. I often mix pea protein into oatmeal or mix it with quinoa for breakfast. After 2 weeks of regular use, I noticed that my ankles were less shaky when I walked down the stairs, a sign that the small muscle groups, which are often neglected, were being nourished again. 9. Pumpkin seeds, muscle tonic. Right in the heart of America, I have seen pumpkin seeds since I was a child. Every fall my mother roasted them for the whole family to eat. But I never thought that little thing would become a muscle tonic for me at the age of 67. Just a handful of pumpkin seeds, 30 grams, contains more than 8 grams of protein, plus zinc, magnesium and omega-3, substances that help the body restore muscle tissue and reduce inflammation naturally. Moreover, according to a study from Tufts University, Boston, older people who regularly consume pumpkin seeds have higher hand function indexes than those who do not. That helps me keep my hands steady when turning screws, holding a screwdriver, or simply opening a water bottle. I started by dry roasting pumpkin seeds, sprinkling them on salads, porridge, even mixing them with granola. The taste is rich, fragrant, easy to eat and easy to remember, a handful every morning, like a ritual of a person reviving. 6 months later, I'm not 30 again, but I'm not the same person. Don't expect eating these foods to make you lift 100 pounds or run a marathon. That's not the magic. The magic is when you don't need a cane to walk in the yard. The magic is when you don't hesitate to pick up your slippers. The magic is when you dare to climb stairs without falling. For 6 months, I didn't take any supplements, didn't drink collagen, and didn't follow any strict diets. I simply added these 7 foods to my daily meals: chickpea flour, moringa powder, quinoa tempeh, sunflower seeds, protein peas, pumpkin seeds. I didn't start with fear. I started with nostalgia for the good old days, with the desire to drive my grandkids to school, and with the belief that we are not powerless against time. You don't have to wait until it's all gone to start. I share this story because I know there are millions of people like me out there. People who are seeing their arms weaken, their legs shake, and their nights of sleep shorten as they age. But I want you to know, There is a way back. It's not a miracle. It starts with breakfast, with a spoonful of beans, with a handful of nuts, with a small commitment. And then day by day, you'll see your strength return, slowly but steadily. Are you ready to start? It doesn't have to change your whole life. Just change the way you feed your body, one meal at a time.